Welcome to Messages from the Universe with Wendy
and Brenda. Hello.
Just for those of you that might not know who we are. We love doing these events, obviously, because they're a great check-in. We get to commune with you all, and we get to kind of just share space and kind of weave more light on the planet together, which is amazing. And so thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming online. All of you matter, and it really does make a difference. So thank you. Oh, you want me to keep going? I can. This month is special, and even the timing of this month is special. Partly we did it so late in the month because we have high schoolers, and we were just traveling and taking care of college stuff, so we had to kind of push it. You know, life happens. But from an astronomical standpoint, you know, all the planets are kind of coming into alignment right now, so it is creating this unification, I kind of like to call it, of all of the planets and just our connection with them, which is a connection with other sentient beings and the connection with ourselves. I feel like it's can be a very harmonious time. Not everyone's experiencing it that way, but so doing it now is important, like the 29th. It happened kind of yesterday, but it's cool, right? Yeah. Yeah.
So one of the things I do want to pull through, though, even though we are at the end of the month, I want to pull in the Lion's Gate. Obviously, as you see our painting for this August, you'll notice that we're definitely pulling that alignment of all that is in this universe to align our true selves with Source. And so I want to pull in, it doesn't really matter when we meet, if our intention is that we connect with and commune with that energy. So I'm bringing that in, and in a moment we're going to do the heart coherence, and you'll be able to feel that.
And unlike other months in this painting, it does feel like other beings are really trying to communicate in a they're always trying to communicate, but this painting itself holds 4 archangels, well, 6 archangels, in the crystalline grid, the earth, and that brings in the sun energy, and obviously the lion for the Lion's Gate. But unlike other paintings in this month, they really are coming in strong to say, hey, it's time for us to kind of integrate further into this new earth, which is just more of a frequency thing than anything. And that frequency shift that they're talking about does translate into different behaviors from a psychological standpoint and from a human perspective, and we're going to talk about that. But really, it's about they're wanting to come through. We're not alone. We have a lot of help, and so calling on them and accessing that energy is easier for us to do now. So very cool.
All right, so before we dive deep, I'm going to invite everyone, whether you're listening online or you're here in person, to just go within for a minute. You know me, I like to close my eyes, so I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and just let go of any tension. And while letting go of any stress or any tension, we just notice our breath. And we maybe slow down that breath if it feels right. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And just allowing your nervous system to slow down. And allowing yourself to become fully present in this moment now. So in honoring of our beautiful beings and our beautiful bodies, I do invite you to do a little body scan. I'm going to start with the top of the head. And just noticing our beautiful head, our eyes, our ears, and just letting go. Scanning down the neck and the shoulders and the arms and releasing any tension. Feeling into that heart space of you, that chest, that upper back, and again, relax. Keep breathing, moving into the stomach and the intestines, the lower back, and again, melt a little bit wherever you are, letting go of that tension, maybe that worry, moving down to the hips and your bottom and your thighs and your knees, and again, relax. Let go of any anger, frustration, uncertainty. Moving down the legs, the shins, the calves, the ankles, the toes, the feet, and honoring your whole body for all that it does for you effortlessly. You never have to think about it. And just letting go of all tension, all stress, all worry, everything. Allowing yourself to breathe and be in the perfect balance of your beautiful being. I'd like to honor and thank all of our beautiful loving guides and angels, all of our ancestors, those that came before us, that will come after. I'd like to honor and thank you for helping us see what it is that we need to see, hear what it is that we need to hear, do what it is that we need to do, feel what it is that we need to feel, and say what it is that we need to say for our highest and greatest good this moment, this day, and every day. And as we sit here in this perfect place, in this perfect now, I invite you to open your being just a little bit more. Whatever that means for you, however that feels right for you, is perfection. So for me, I'm going to connect in that heart space, that beautiful light within me that allows me to remember who I am. And maybe you can see that heart space as a color, or maybe it's just a light. Maybe it's a feeling. Could even be a song. Just allowing yourself to open that up and turn that on a little bit more, a little bit brighter. And again, we all have a unique pathway to the great I am, and whatever yours is, it is truly perfect. So just allowing your heart to open a little bit more, and then feeling that resonate in every cell in your body. And allowing yourself to open to the other parts of your being that aren't in physical form. That soul self, that light, that love that is you. And for a moment, I invite you to honor yourself. Yes, yourself. Come back to yourself, pull yourself in, and come home and honor all of the parts of you, all of the nuances and experiences that have led to this now. And if you're willing, I do invite you to feel within yourself, to think within yourself. You don't need to say it out loud, and you can if you feel safe. Saying to yourself, I love you. I love you so much. Thank you so much for all that you are. Thank you so much for being you. Thank you for allowing me to feel more loved, more peace, more abundance, more success. Whatever it is you wish. There we go. And in honoring yourself, I invite you to honor everyone else, everything else. This might sound like a big ask right now. So I just invite you to bring forward whatever it is that feels right to bring forward in this moment now. You cannot get it wrong, and it doesn't matter. Just bringing forward the things, the feelings, the people that you are grateful for. And if you're willing, sending maybe a blanket feeling of love out to everyone on the planet who might need it. Again, you cannot get this wrong. We don't need to think so much about it. It is an intention of love and support, of honoring, of power. And this allows us to let go even further, let down our guard even more, saying to the universe, I trust you, I love you, I am at peace, and all is well in my world. And I do invite you to feel all the other souls that are putting out the same prayer right now, the same intentions. And I invite you to imagine that with these other souls that are out there, that we hold hands, that we combine forces of love and light. To ourselves, please receive this love. And yes, we will give it out as well. And we take this love and this light for ourselves and the entire planet. And we choose with love, pure intent, to send it out into the universe and other universes. And again, my friends, I feel you, I see you. Whatever stressors, whatever worries, whatever doubts may be in your being in this moment, I do invite you to bring it forward. For in this energy, in this love, we transmute it. So whatever it is maybe that weighs heavy on your beautiful heart, just allow yourself to bring it forward. You don't need to know what to do, and just thank all of this love for transmuting it, for releasing it from your being. It could be healing, or abundance, or relationships, or peace. I'd like to honor and thank all of those that are here helping us open our beings to more love. Thank you for your help and your wisdom and your guidance. I feel you, I see you, I honor you. Let's take a couple more deep breaths, breathing this into every single cell of your youthing body. Allowing your being to regenerate, restructure, and expand. When you're ready, let's stay where we are and come back all at the same time. Bringing our awareness to this now. Maybe wiggle your toes, your fingers.
Strong, huh? I can see him. That's cool.
I mean, look at this painting, you know? How could they not be?
Yeah, for sure.
I wanted to stay there a little longer.
Me too.
It was nice here.
It's nice here. And so we begin on that beautiful foundation of energy, really. And that's partly what they want to share, kind of teach, is that we are meant to kind of start each day this way, right? Where you wake up connected with self, connected with all that is, and kind of choose what you want to create. We talk about this a lot in a lot of different classes and such, but we have to begin here, because that really is the being taking full responsibility for the reality, right? And it really is about shifting into this new frequency. It's almost like we have to cultivate that kind of practice. It's a spiritual practice. It's a practice of creating that sacred temple. And the only way you're going to get to the lion or to this other space is by cultivating that. And the thing is, you can't fake it. You can't say that you're doing it and then not really do it. I mean, you know where you're at in your path, meaning where you might forget to do this and maybe even why you forget. And there's no judgment in that, because if you are forgetting, you're meant to get you back into balance. There's just parts of you that you don't want to leave behind. And so you'll get lost in some kind of drama or whatever. This is the human experience, but it's fun. It's totally fun. And it's kind of like shifting the perspective to that kind of fun. Even if you are having fun with anger or sadness, it's like, oh, there must be a part of me here that I need to create kind of a wholeness again so that I can connect within. And cool.
And not only what you're noticing or what you might be unraveling into, whatever is arising, which is perfect, of course, there's this energy or this element around, you also can't just say or cultivate this and then have parts of you that are not in alignment with it. So more and more we're seeing, feeling within our own selves and outside of us in the world that you're being called out, like the inconsistency, the hypocrite within you that says, no, I love everyone except this person or this thing. That's okay, there's no judgment of it, and yet you're being guided to notice, because the imbalance of the pretending or the lying, that's causing some discomfort within us, appropriately so. Again, nothing bad is happening. It is a gift of noticing, hey, something feels off or uncomfortable. Because in the painting, you can see the perfect balance of balancing all of this. And the place of power will really be like, hey, I choose to be loving and kind. And for whatever reason, I cannot bring that over here to this thing. Now we're talking, though. Now we can move. There's this confronting around, hey, you're not doing that thing, though, over here. And I feel like we're seeing that in the media more and more. And I don't know about all of you, but I'm seeing it more and more around me with others. Like you can't fake this anymore. Not that you could, but you could almost like play nice or compartmentalize it or bring it over here. And it's so fascinating because it's not really, you can't do that anymore. And especially if you're showing up in things like this and taking advantage of the opportunities for help, oh yeah, your stuff is coming front and center. And again, there's no judgment. It's not about, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm not working out enough, I'm not eating enough. It's really this energy of like, hey, own it. I really like eating right, and I'm not eating right all the time because here I feel like I'm starving or I'm overeating, whatever. I mean, really, we're taking ourselves a lot seriously, or I don't know what verbiage I want around that, but it's like, we just like, way too serious. Can we just like laugh about this and be like, yeah, I mean, I was just eating Fritos in the other room, okay? Like that was happening. And I literally said, I want some fat. My body wants some fat. And I'm like, yeah, that's totally okay. And I do have a smoothie and a fruit thing here too. See, both are true. That's okay. But it's more than that. It's more around this energy of love, of this peacefulness, of this vibe of community and abundance and support. We're taking that too serious too, and we're putting it in these like, I don't even know, compartments. And it's not quite like that. We're missing the mark a little bit. It's time to open our beings and be authentic and real. And we're seeing that more and more. Feeling into that more and more. Practicing that more and more. Right? We'll be like, I just had the best conversation with the guy at the gas station. Like, I don't know.
Because you were living in the now and you were very present and all your needs were met and you felt that way. It's really hard to have those experiences when you don't feel that way though, right? When you're feeling out of balance. And so we talk a lot about that space when you don't feel that love, because it's kind of easy when you do, right? Like, no man, I'm flying high. I love everybody today, right? So it's really an interesting conversation, really, because it's like it's so important, and it's like a roadmap to like ascension and whatever. It's all of those things. They're just really wanting to take me somewhere else. And I
Then go there.
I don't even know, man. They're like being weird. It is about, yeah, totally. I was like, no, and they're like, where? That's what it felt like, and I was like, oh, okay. It is about that heart space, and I feel like that's why this is here in the painting, and that is the key to any and all things. Even like if you find yourself in narcissistic relationships, abusive relationships, in situations that you don't like, in the government systems, in the food systems, in the medical system, something like that, and you don't know, and you're like, hey, I don't even know. Like, I don't know if I like Fritos, I don't even know, right? You're like, if you just have this openness to any of those situations, and you say, hey, I'm open, but how do I feel? Because the answers are going to lie in that space. How do I feel when I eat Fritos? Well, actually, they are good. I can tell that I like the fat, but then there's this heaviness inside my stomach, and my intestines don't really. I just had some too, so I can speak from experience, right? I brought them, so whatever. I was eating them all day, anyways. So right. If I was really to slow down and take ownership of however it is I feel, if you're in a relationship with anybody and you're like, hey, I don't know if this is healthy, or I don't know, right? Because we start intellectualizing everything because that's what we were taught, because that was the age we were brought up in. We're moving into a new age, which is like the age of miracles, which is a different way of being, which is this fifth dimensional expansion, which I hate that word, but it is a different way of existing. And it is more in this feeling space. So how do I really feel? How do I feel about these feelings? Well, I didn't really like that. Okay, well, I'm going to just hold that. So for next time when I have the Fritos, I might eat less, right? I'm just going to still keep showing up. Just like with working out, you can't say, hey, I'm going to work out 5 days a week, even though I haven't worked out in 2 months, right? It's unrealistic. It's like, how do you feel today? Do you feel like working out today? Right? Do I like how I feel when I'm with this person? No. Well, it's still hard for me to say no, so how do I show up? You just keep showing up. That's where Brenda's always a preacher of like, you can't get this wrong. If you're showing up, you can't get this wrong. And it really is all about feeling. How do you feel? It's not ever a thinking space. This is so, when we talk about other sentient beings or aliens or whatever, even archangels, they don't have like a brain. They don't even really have mouths in some ways. Everything's all like, everyone always talks about how they spoke to me in my head, inside my head. Even the archangels, they spoke to me inside my head. My spirit guide spoke to me inside my head. Right? Why do you think that is? Because it's beyond the brain, or it's using different aspects of the brain. And so in that way, there's almost a key there. Like, no, think about it. That's where they're at, and they're like, come meet us. Right? It's very animalistic to be thinking this way, and we needed it for so long, and there's no judgment in that. They're just saying, hey, that's what we're all integrating into more of these expansive tools. We all are, and that's partly why we're freaking out. Parts of us are freaking out, because the brain's going, hey, I really liked that job of worrying. I mean, I did that so well, and I did it every day. Right, but those neural pathways of worrying, those are there, and the brain has now an expectation of worry. So we have to start shifting that, and so for even the brain, it's going to be uncomfortable because you're going to be like, nope, we're not connecting there. They're like, what? Where am I supposed to send this electrical signal then? Because before it went over here, and so it's going to be uncomfortable because it has nowhere to go, and so you have to train it. Nope, we're going to go here now. Now we're going to manifest. Now we're going to choose now. Instead of worry, we're going to be like, nope, all is well. All is well. And it's going to feel off because you're so used to that other kind of connection. And that can be said for anything from diet to even relationships. You're used to getting fed outside of yourself, or you're used to even having problems. Right? I started going off on a tangent. Felt it? I was like, preach it. right?
All from Fritos.
All from Fritos. The power of Fritos. Yeah. Use that in your advertisement. Yeah.
I'm just not mad that the Fritos didn't come in here.
Oh, I'll break some.
I can taste them.
I can probably.
I love Fritos. Keep talking about them.
If you're sitting close enough, you can probably smell them. So you guys are lucky you don't have that. Maybe in a new age of technology, smell will be able to come right through. I have minty fresh breath. Imagine that. Anyways, that's part of this process, is changing these neural pathways if you're going to go from a brain science perspective. But from an emotional perspective, it is shifting from here to the thinking self. It's kind of expanding your emotional intelligence, which is kind of, I bet you in the future they're going to have like an awareness that we're going to start really utilizing other parts of the brain. You know, people that are more emotional intelligent, they're going to see that there are different parts of the gray matter that are activated. And I think that Joe Dispenza is already doing studies on that, which is cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's this conversation that I don't know that we'll ever stop having in our lifetime here now. It's from this, though, that we begin to commune with more. That we begin to understand physics in a new way. That we begin to remember who we are in very new ways. And that's really been the message of this month, is it's time for more. This is brand new stuff. And the only way to access it is this centered inter-knowing of this mastery of being a human being. It is about ascension and enlightenment. That is not a discipline. It is not top down. It is equal, lateral. This is who we really are. And we all in this room and probably online go, yes, we get it. And we are lovingly, powerfully, intentionally breaking down the subconscious nuances of that top-down, because when we look in our world, this top-down theory is everywhere, which means, my loves, it's within you. Because if it wasn't outside of us, it would not be within us. So we must cultivate and practice a different way of being, of consciously, intentfully, powerfully, and lovingly saying no. When we hear things like someone else knows more about me than me, that is not true. It can never, ever, ever be true. You are responsible for you. You bring yourself back to center. That is this painting. And then you begin to roar like the lion. You begin to commune and cultivate and express authentic only to yourself, not to conform. Not to be like ... Not to prove or defend, like all of these nuances. We come at this in so many different ways. And it is the way of being that says, great. Because right now in this room and online, I see you, I feel you. We're all in this frequency of, okay, now hear what we have to tell you. Because there's some new stuff here. There's new frequencies, there's new downloads, there's new activations opening in your cells right now. And really, for the most part, we can't talk to you about it. Sounds really stupid, silly, because here I am talking to you about it. And it's not in that energy yet. We're in this messaging of the frequencies still. You can hear the sound of it. You could feel it. You could see the colors of it. I'm sure there's some people out there that are transmuting that into a language. And I would also say that no, everyone who's listening is going to be a part of helping transmute this into a language, into a way of being that is going to surprise us in really good ways. Nothing bad. Really good ways, freeing ways.
So the painting, I never explained this even in the quantum art video, but they want to kind of share it now. And that's where these paintings are always like so much more than just one moment of me explaining it. It's like I could write a whole book about each painting. Anyways, on the left side you see the lion, and then you have who's represented there is Raphael. Now Raphael is typically in the east direction of where you would start, like in the medicine wheel. But it's here on the left side of the painting because it's like that's where we're kind of at and kind of moving into creating this sacred temple within. That's where they're trying to move us into, like really master the self, okay? But to get there, they're showing you in some ways like this map of Raphael is emerald green. He is of the mental air energy, so it is about mastering the mind, but also learning to really how to love yourself. And then you have the lion here, that representative of Metatron, which is of the central sun. And in this way, they want to just say it's time to understand your own authority. Your own authority. And so in some ways, that's what's happening on the planet, is that shifting, right? We're starting to move to more self-empowered instead of, right? And we talked about this in this year's painting up here. We talked about how that was going to be one of the challenges this year. We're getting close to the end where it's just like, who has the power to say? And all of that's crumbling because we really are, as a collective, wanting something that's more unified, possibly, right? Or we're questioning or wanting to know, is it top down? Are we shifting from that, right? And there's a lot of energy that is way more for a lateral way of being. And so it is about who is your own authority. It's about taking your power back. So the lion is about your power for sure, your voice for sure, but it is about your authority. And that's always with the solar plexus, and that's all about freedom. So really, where are you not free? Where are you expressing freedom for yourself and others? Even if you think it's right, like, hey, I want a lateral world, I want a unified world, that might not be right for somebody, and everybody else has a choice, right? So how can both be true at the same time? And so now we're really stretching, because part of right and wrong, right, that's what kind of keeps maintaining this warlike kind of mentality. And so they're starting here. And instead, if you start feeling that kind of struggle and you start feeling that kind of energy exchange, I know you know what I'm talking about. You start in the conflict where you start having to feel like you got to fight for what you got to say, you got to prove how you feel is right for you or whatever. It comes back down to Raphael, which is, can you believe that it's possible for change? And if you're still struggling or have doubts, you focus on loving yourself. You're going to feel better. These are complex things, and I don't mean to oversimplify any of them, because it comes down to you following your own path in your own sacred temple. And so if you connect within and God's saying, hey, I need to go create a women's shelter, or I need to go peacefully, what is this? I'm holding up a sign.
Protest.
Right? I really need to speak my voice because there's been, I was playing charades. It's a movie, 2 words, right? Like, that's right for you. Doesn't mean everyone needs to protest. That's your own heart. And you need to probably, for your lineage, changing something, speaking up for a time when you didn't have a voice, right? Like, there could be so many powerful things in that for you. But as soon as we start going, but everyone should protest. Do you see what I'm saying? You can inspire, you can empower. And that's part of this own authority thing. Because you know what? Martin Luther King, right? He was so powerful in how he felt. It was right for him. You could feel it. It's a frequency thing.
He got his ideas from Gandhi. It's called passive,
resistance.
Passive resistance, yeah. No, I love it. It inspires me every time.
But it inspires people because he just, he didn't care if you followed him. He was still going to march, right? He didn't care. Come with me, don't come with me. It feels so right to me. But he was so in his heart. Do you get what I'm saying? So if that's really what this month's painting is about, is you finding whatever that is for you. This inspiration, this connection to source, passion. And you can't think your way, like, I really want to be inspired here. There's a huge difference versus I'm inspired here. And the only way you can know what that is by creating that sacred temple. And that sacred temple, part of that structure is this sword of truth. You want to talk about that? Sword of truth, because I feel like I missed some pieces of that in my other video.
So, the sword of truth is the symbol, obviously, from King Arthur, right? And it's actually in other stories too. And the sword of truth is your ability to discern through, to cut through, basically, the bullshit. The sword of truth causes no harm. It cuts down what is authentic, what is real for you. So you show up with this magnificent pointer, right? You're honing in on the thing that is just so powerful and authentic. You know it without a doubt. You become a mountain. I'm a mountain. But really that mountain this is my sword of truth. I know I pulled this out of the rock, right? Because my heart is true for me, it was helping people. I remembered, I was like, right? Here we go. I remember I love everyone. I do. And I'm here to help. Remember, and I'm getting better at it every day. And I know that without a doubt, you couldn't move me. You could call me names. You could say I suck. I'd be like, all right, I'm going to show up and I'm going to get better. You wouldn't move me off of that, right? Now, if this was a while ago, you would have crushed me to the core. I would have been on the pavement bawling my eyes out. Big hot mess. Probably naked, because I probably would have given you the clothes off my back, and I would have given everything that I owned.
She was naked a lot back then. In the streets.
But the symbolism of that is no, I would have given more, I would have done more, and I would have just been like, okay, I must really suck because I'm just not doing, really, you would have made me doubt my truth.
Because she didn't have her sword of truth at that point.
And it's not always one thing. There are areas in my life where you could still hurt me and that I'm getting better at still healing every day. And then there's a lot of other areas that, I'll check within with love and consideration and power. And yet, I don't necessarily have to feel bad about myself to check within. I'm solid here. I love me here. That's the sword of truth. It's not a thinking problem, though. The sword of truth is about a frequency. It is about a mastery of the self. And that always changes the self. In human form, it does. I'm not sure if it does if we're not in human form. I don't know if that matters yet.
There's always a part of our being that is connected to the divinity and has no duality. Meaning there is a part within your being, even now, within your cells, within your DNA, that is aware of who you are, where you've come from when you're not in form. And that's the same part when you're quiet enough and you've cultivated that sacred temple within, you know you can see through the lies that you even tell yourself. They're like, no, like, I hate them, they're so bad, no. You really are, they really strike your insecurity, they really make you feel unworthy, right? That's the part of you that's that wise voice within you. And then you cultivate that wisdom by creating that sanctuary, right? And what that really means is you just create time in your day where you're actually having these conversations with yourself to hear that voice, to kind of decipher through and cutting away the lies. Because if you ask, you shall, you ask yourself, you seek, you shall find, right? You ask something. They're going to be there. You're going to be there.
And you shall receive.
Yeah. You ask, you shall receive. Yeah, all right. There we go.
Another way, in a very human way, but I find this very helpful, it is exploring or diving deep into why you feel a certain way. Why am I feeling uncomfortable here? And then unravel all of the parts in that. And then when you find, well, I'm just really frustrated. Well, why? Why are we frustrated? What's going on in here? And then keep going and keep going and keep going, because the minute that you pull that sort of truth out of that, you'll feel it. Your whole being will just zing, because you'll go, oh my God, I feel unworthy. I feel like I'm just not lovable for speaking up, or whatever it is, whatever that sort of truth pulls out, you know it. You're like, ah, and then it's just amazingness, because nothing needs to be done. You have such a knowing. Once that sword is out, you have a knowing. You're unmovable now. And next time when the thing comes up or whatever, you don't even have the trigger or the wound anymore, because that's the sort of truth. It's you. It's the mastery of self. So same thing that we've been talking about for the last couple minutes. I know everyone listening, everyone here has had that experience where you're like, I get it. Right. So it's really just more of that, of just really sitting with yourself. It's not that complicated. I mean, it's going to bed at night and telling yourself how much you love you. What do I need to know about me right now? What is it? What's there? Maybe it's, I'm really tired. Will you shut up and let me go to bed? I'm just saying. That's probably
step, right?
Because there's something of that too, right? We don't always have to be doing. We don't always have to be growing. We don't always have to be fixing. There's nothing broken. There's nothing broken. How about, talking about having more fun? I mean, I fantasize about that sometimes. How about we just go and have some more fun? Can we just have a fun group? I don't even know what that would be, but I think about this. Yeah, apparently we gotta go. Because it's that's the way. You do that every day. We could do that instead. It's just, we do have these complicated feelings that just don't go away unless we resolve them.
And that is the other message of the lion, is truly this wildness. And it's like, I mean, we are so confined, and that's totally, right? That's totally tied into social conditioning, but it's tied into sex and creativity. It's like we're so in a box because we're so we care so much about what other people think. And the people that don't, they have power. And that's what freedom. The lion is about. And with that comes freedom. Yep. So there is that message in here too. Where are you being confined? Even in your own thinking, she talks about taking yourself too seriously. Where are you taking yourself too seriously? Are you working so hard on yourself because you really want to have this thing? You're not being wild enough. Go with the flow, man. Whatever happened to the 60s? Minus the drugs. Okay, we want our brain cells. Right? But there was a flow there. They really were tapping into something that our culture needed. And it is now intertwined in our own DNA, thanks to our ancestors, just the recent generations, of saying, let's learn from that, minus the destructive behaviors of that, like sleeping with everybody and hurting our bodies. We don't have to do that. I don't want to do that, right? But I do love that freedom and the collectiveness of that, and working together in mankind or humankind. We are bringing some of that back with the LGBTQRA plus TSWR. I added those other ones in there because I forget what is.
I know. I always put those too. We all. Yeah.
Oh, everybody.
Yes. Inclusiveness.
There you go. I like that. Right? But now we're even taking that serious. That's serious, right? Now it's can we just have some fun?
We're lighting it up.
Let's lighten it up. And we need to be serious. People were killed for that, and I totally get it, right? It's we need to now, though, bring in some joy, wildness, and roaring like a lion. That was pretty good. Pretty good lion.
Pretty good lion, right?
Let's hear your lion, Brad. Come on.
Because now you put me on the spot, and now I'm even nervous about it. I know.
It has to be, authentic.
All right,
True.
so
it's got to be the right phrase to do that.
I do want to hold some space because this is a little bit complicated, I think. So I just want to hold space if there's any questions. Yes, nice job. I could feel it from here. That's awesome. We got some roars going on online here. It's very good.
Nice.
So if you have any questions, we'd love to hear them. I just want to make sure. If you have any questions, to process, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll come back. But just if there's any questions in the room,
like what's
online.
going on, or if you have questions.
Yeah, with
ask
this month, or just
Spirit,
what's
or-
coming through right now. Because believe me, you're all being talked to right now. You're all being worked on, upgraded, healed right now. So if there's any
I have a
questions.
question, but I do want to say every single thing that we have talked about in this room has been what I have been experiencing this whole month. Obviously before this month too,
Yeah.
but it is just speeding up. Like the time has come.
Yeah.
The time is here.
It's just here.
And I'm feeling it in like every fiber of my being.
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes it's freaky.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm like, oh my god, but then I get it. You know, like when the sword of truth is coming out,
Yeah.
which it has recently for me, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And so then I'm just like, of course I'm supposed to be here right now because this is exactly I've been living.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
cool.
I all have been because we're here, and it's just like wild to hear.
And it's
You know, because we're all like freaking out, you know, and it's just great to hear, like, oh yeah, like, you know, this way you're supposed to be
It's
doing
okay.
it.
Yeah.
And it's very evident in like the instant validation. I think that's what I found. Like you put something out there, maybe a couple weeks later, but now it's like,
Yes.
yeah. It's like you put something out there,
It's
it could be an
crazy,
hour,
yeah.
it could be the next. It's
I'm
like,
feeling
Even at the
stuff
same
like,
freaking minute.
yeah.
Exactly. It's been
Can you
like,
guys hear them?
yeah. Be
You
careful
can't
what
hear
you
them?
put out because
Yes,
it's
but I know.
it's
In
there.
the
It is
insight
there.
that's
Yeah.
coming, like to
Yeah.
where did this thinking begin
Mhm.
in your life?
And the
It's like,
insight
boom, there it is.
and the-
It's like,
yeah.
so then you can work on it and be like, okay, because I don't like that thinking, so yes, we will fit. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just being able to acknowledge it when it's there. Like, even realizing what's happening to us.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
it's just
cool.
culminating.
Yeah.
You know, this is just like, okay, validation. Here we go.
We were talking about like peeling layers too. For a long time, it felt like
Yes.
years, and now it's happening in months or
Oh,
weeks.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, oh, okay, that's gone.
Yes.
That's gone.
Yes.
That
It
was
made-
3 years before,
Right.
and now that's gone.
Right.
You know, it's
Yeah.
just, it's great.
Yeah, we can release things very quickly right now. I mean, you just have to have that intention and it is just gone.
What's it say?
It says, yes, we can hear. It's a great discussion.
Oh.
Yeah, time is speeding up. I mean,
Yes.
that some people would say that.
Yes.
But, you know, the funny thing is with physics, you know, the closer and closer you get to the speed of light, doesn't it like slow down? Which is the opposite, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But think about that. Like the closer and
Right,
closer you
right.
get to the speed of light, so if you're moving faster, it really starts slowing down, right? Because you're so present.
Yeah.
Like, and that's where I think is you can almost expand the moment. So it's almost like the more we cultivate like our beings, the more we can really experience all that is. Like that's what it makes me think of.
I think it's the idea too of being in the flow.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
when
yeah.
you're like going uphill, it always takes, or you're
Mhm.
going against the flow,
Yeah,
it always
true.
takes longer.
Right.
But when you get yourself in balance or alignment and you're in
Yeah.
the flow, then it does like,
Yes.
It
when
feels
you're
like
going
that.
with it, it goes faster. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
And it feels good.
Right. It just feels nice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very light, very
Yeah.
effortless.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
And the way it's happening, Sharon, and what you're saying, and when you're not feeling that balance, you feel it just like that, and it totally changes.
Which is helpful
mood,
because
your
if you
attitude.
know,
Yeah.
when you know that you're out of balance and that there's something here that needs you,
Yes.
then you can go, okay, whoa, because you're making yourself,
Mhm.
whoa, stop,
Yeah.
everything stop. Okay, what's going on? I mean, I was angry, I think it was yesterday, and everything had to stop for a minute. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be mad. I'm mad. And it was pretty short. It was like, okay.
And Wendy's like, okay, she's mad.
What's new?
But those spikes are coming of irritation and stuff.
Yeah.
This week has gotten really weird. I know a lot of people have been saying.
Yeah.
One minute you feel irritated, you don't even know why, and then the next minute you're fine. And then, so
That was it.
they're coming, man.
Yeah,
Holy
it's
cow,
interesting.
that full moon.
Yeah, and I do. What they're
Yeah.
kind of saying to me right now, in those moments when you're feeling like afraid, or let's say you're in lesson, and you want those moments to be gone like quick, right? Like
Right.
if you're moving through something, or you're afraid, or you're sad, or whatever, they're showing me that part of the reason why those seem like to last forever, in some cases they actually do. right, is because we're trying so much to keep them separate. So it's the efforting of not wanting to go into that darker space, or not wanting to feel that fear, or not wanting to feel, it's like a tension. So really what you're not that you're doing anything wrong, but you are doing it in some ways by resisting it, because you're not wanting to feel it. So if you really are wanting to move through a phase of your life or whatever, you gotta let go, you gotta let it in. And that's not easy, because there could be some mental beliefs that are keeping that at bay. There could be even some physical beliefs that are keeping that at bay, meaning like they could be stuck in your body, so you gotta move them, or you do have to shift into a frequency that will allow you to feel them. Like I've noticed I've had to change my diet and change a lot of things to even get to emotional parts of myself. Like if I'm drinking alcohol, I couldn't feel some things that I needed to feel if I was, so.
And it's really important for me that we don't take this information of what we're saying right now and make ourselves sit in that discomfort if it's become too much. If your truth is that I've had enough, I need to honor that you are allowed to step out. You are allowed to say, listen,
for sure.
I hear this. If you can name it, like I was saying, just owning it. This is really uncomfortable. In fact, I feel like it's becoming too much. I'm too scared. So thank you. I will come back, because you will. And I need a break, though, for a minute. Can we just let this go and utilize how powerful you really are, because you are. It's okay if it's too much. Those of us that helped shift this planet chose very traumatizing early life experiences. And we chose life experiences that would help us, that would help the planet. And I honor you immensely. So you want to hear my haunting, you must be kind about all of this. You're not doing anything wrong. And this obedience of this pathway, even this will not help you. In fact, listen to what I'm saying. Obedience will not help you. Obedience of working out or eating right or any of it, it doesn't work. It's not sustainable. It's imbalanced. Obedience is black and white thinking. It's very old school. I'm going to call it old school. It's very young, immature. So to evolve is to listen, to show up, to keep trying for sure. I'm not saying throw out working out, but if you don't feel like working out right now, don't work out. If you don't feel like being in the feeling space right now, don't. Please don't. Please love yourself enough to know, okay, we're going to watch a little bit of something else, because let's go laugh for a minute. Let's go play what's my game right now? I have this ball game that I play. I play this ball game where I put all these balls in this thing. It's I love it.
It's on her phone, I think. I don't think that's real.
No. It is. It's on my phone.
Although that might be
Woo!
I was thinking
Mine
the
was
exact
very-
same thing.
Mine was very punishing.
This one I'm trying not to laugh about, because I
Mine was
just saw
opposite.
that. I almost had a comment. I was like, no, I'm not gonna. No, Tim, don't even say. And then you said that, like, okay. Your comment was a little nicer than mine.
Because it is about following your own rhythm. It is about following your own thing. Like me figuring out that I needed to, stop alcohol, because it was hurting my body, and it took a process. And then it was then there was all these emotions, so it's like a kind of hindsight. But recognizing the moment, there was a lot of moments I didn't stop drinking, but there was a lot of moments where I would stop. You get what I'm saying? But it was really me just following and listening to my own body. So it is about you knowing you and trusting that.
That's the sort of truth. I mean, it really is about the mastery of self. And it's not one thing. It's all of these things.
That's why a good teacher will just teach you to listen to yourself. I mean, my way is not going to work for you. Her way is not going to work for you. You got to find your own way. And that's where this authority or this top-down situation is hard for a lot of people, because they want to be told, what do I need to do? And so we're like, no, you got to figure it out. And they're like, stop with that foo-foo-y stuff and just tell me what I need to do. We're like, no, you really got to sit with yourself, man. I don't want to do that.
And you really do, because the thing that we all really want is that thing. We really do want that, so it's fascinating.
I'm being so dramatic.
I know you are.
She couldn't even separate it.
Sharon.
Okay.
Hey, you gotta open the circle for us, girl. So don't even.
I was like, oh, by far I'm not gonna be called this guy.
They got a lot to say to you.
From that conversation in the hallway.
Yeah, go show me.
It's not. I thought I did really try. I was like, I'm gonna, and they're like, oh, I'm like, okay. Tried to change it up.
It's interesting because who wants to come through is almost an entity, a feminine entity that is made up of many women. I'm getting chills. And this entity is more of a collective of women. They're coming through because they said that they've been working with you, and it's one for them to know, as validation for you that you have been working with them, and it is almost like a healing collective, but it is, sorry, they're just a little bit different. They're almost like how they want me to describe how I see them. It's almost like if they were, they're definitely more Palladian feeling, meaning they're deeper blues and purples and of the stars. So they're higher frequency, but they're soothing. And they are working with many people on the planet, but they need you to know that you're working with them, because it is what you're meant to do here in this lifetime. It feels like, interestingly, you didn't know that, or you need confirmation or something, because having that pinpoint will help you. This is me not talking, but having that pinpoint will help you. And this is for everybody. In some ways, it is this divine feminine energy that we're talking about here, because that is the imbalance. And that is the pathway to come back into balance, to create the sacred temple. And so in some ways, we're all moving and working with them, but they want you to know that it's different for you. And it's almost like you're an appointed one. So an appointed one, which is such a weird word, but it's like you're meant to hold more of their energy. So Brenda is an appointed one to a certain degree. She's different. She is different. You guys need to know that too. And we'll talk about Brenda in a minute. But you're an appointed one. It's meaning whenever you're an appointed one, you've chosen to hold that energy and then to share that energy.
That wisdom, that mastery, that knowing. Yep.
And you don't even need me to tell you that it's time, because I can tell that you already know that, so I'm not going to say it, even though I felt it. Because they're showing me there's this integration, that you've made this integration possible, and you've already are doing it. I'm just asking them what they want you to know. It'll help both of you guys online too, this energy entities that I'm talking to. They can remove obstacles in some ways. It's almost like a Ganesh energy in some ways, where it's like a removal of obstacles. So it's like moving through your DNA, and your DNA has the frequency of your karma, right? Or even genetic expression. So they can shift through some of that. They can shift through and remove obstacles. They work closely, obviously, with the crystalline grid, so it's like a partner in that way, but different. It's very personal. It's very personal and very, very loving. And you're bringing this through, so I'm honoring you for that. But you are meant to work with them and bring back skills that have been forgotten. And we're talking way back to Lemuria, of skills that's how far away that we know of them consciously, but she said that just came from the stars. So if you could just focus on the stars, that might be easier. But if you do need the land, because even Hawaii and stuff like that, they don't really, as a collective, don't remember what I'm talking about. but you do in your cell. So the earth is holding it in some places, so you can tap into it there, but you're going to find the fastest way to it, because even that's dense, is through your own heart and trusting that temple, but connecting this way. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. And that stuff you did in my painting.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, right. Ah, right. Yeah. So the removal of obstacles. So in some ways, they're so funny, in some ways they would say we all have obstacles to remove, and they're all obstacles that, the obstacle that you think it is never what it is. Right? Because you think that it's this thing. If I just had this thing, but so in that way, what they're trying to show is it's not what you think it is, so you have to be really open. So you can't be specific, like, I want removal of my obstacle with abundance, or whatever. It almost has to be more open than that, because let's say if it's, with abundance, it actually is, they're showing me energetically like it's your connection with your grandfather in this life over here. Like it's so much more weird than that. So just stay open to it and just say yes, please, and they will do it. Okay, I'm done. They're done. No.
You sure? No, I don't know. I mean, I just...
Yeah.
Because I feel them just weaving these webs, even online. Like I can feel them. They're just all like, yeah, just
You feeling
like
it?
going. It's like,
Taylor?
whoa.
Yeah, you guys feeling it? Yeah.
I want to use the word reverent, but reverent of the self, like reverent truly of what it's taken for you to get here. And that's like the humbleness that's required to open you in such a way where this energy can come in even more. You know about the temples, you do. It's time to create them. Again, you already know this, I know that already. But they are going to help you construct them, and it's not in physical form, and it will be eventually, actually. I can see that. You will actually create a physical temple that will be a place where many come and gather. It's not always you then holding it. Many people will come and gather because you've created it. A huge chills on that.
I did too.
Good. Interestingly, they did say that something was for me. They said, Brenda, we're going to read for you for a minute. And I went, that's not going to happen.
And then I said that.
And then she said that. So then I'm going to name that because I did have that feeling. And I was like, yeah, that's so not happening.
Okay, yeah, they want to tell you that. You ready?
Well, yeah, because it's got to be for Sharon too. So, because I could see that.
We do that.
Yeah, exactly. We do. So like grandiose, like what?
I need a drink of water.
That was
I'm actually
great.
really
I
thirsty,
need
so I'm
some
like, okay,
whiskey for this
I'll get to
one.
work.
Let me.
And so I was like, give me some water, man.
Sit back, ladies.
Can I have some water, please? Jeez.
Sit back. Here it comes.
Bring it on. Come to mama.
Just joking. Am I?
Bring it.
Brenda has been wanting some information for a very long time. This is what they're saying to me. She's been wanting some. Man, they are dramatic. Right? Am I right? Anyways, because in some ways it's a huge honoring, so it has this tone that is extremely sacred, and in our own maturity, my own, I'll take responsibility. I'm like, I don't know what to do. No, I'm joking. Am I? They really do, they're coming forward and they're showing me that you have been wanting this for a very long time. It's like that, they're showing me like that movie, like the timing of everything. You felt very lonely for a long time because you've felt so alone, and they want you to know that they're here now. I'm getting huge chills. Like your family's here now, and they need you to open that door. you are different in a way that you do hold energy. You are holding energy for so many others, and yet it's time to, they're showing me kind of like time to let that go and step into this new role. And I know that we know, because we're almost having a human experience, because I already know this, we've already had a conversation. But they're just saying it's time, and to not be afraid of the light that you carry. And it has been used against you. Your light has been used against you, and that is part of the obstacle. Meaning used and manipulated to people to take. But they're almost dissolving that now, because in some ways they never can. So in some ways they're saying, oh, call back your energy. Call back your energy to yourself. Everyone can do this. Call back your energy, because it's always yours. And the idea that they have it or taken it is a lie, and just call back. You already know this. But they wanted that for them. You taught the ones that came to the planet to teach people in Lemuria. So you weren't the ones teaching in Lemuria, you actually taught the people that taught Lemuria. Partly you guys just need to recognize who she is and her lineage in some ways, because what that helps do is ignite the light within yourselves. It's almost like it's just time for us all to start being our own authority. And so for Brenda, it is, and I'm speaking for her. She even has someone to speak for her. Whoa.
Because she is, I don't know, she had subjects.
Right? It's time to not be afraid of that authority, though. You know, when you know something is wrong or when somebody is lying, it's time to do that in a just way, not in a punishing way, but just in a, that doesn't align with me kind of way. And they're partly saying that to her.
I have no idea why they had to do that in such a public way, but we will honor and accept always the love and the light of that. I would wonder if part of what I'm here to teach is the mastery of groups and holding accountability with boundaries and just the human things of the group. You will need to have a knowing of that, and it makes me wonder, and obviously we'll talk about it in the future, but makes me wonder if that's some of what I need to help you with, because that's a very real thing. You will have things and people that push on that, and you can't just say, you're not ever going to exclude anyone, and yet you are going to need to set those boundaries and show others how to be healthy, how to use words in loving, assertive, kind ways, while still saying no, or still saying, no, this is how we're showing up. I feel that very strongly. Go ahead, did you want to say that? Okay. Hold on. So that wasn't her. It's interesting, it's a place in the circle. It's
What is the place in the circle?
no. So what I'm trying to pull through for Sharon, it's like there's a place in the circle they're wanting, and then it's the dragons, Jamie. I don't know if you're getting it too. Okay, I don't know if you got that, but I could feel the dragons. Huge chills. So somebody got it. Somebody, it must have been Jamie. Jamie, you want to share? So I could feel somebody else's, because of course this is going to be a complete full circle. We're going to love it. Do we got her? Is she? I don't know.
No, actually.
No? I don't know. She might be trying to say something. There is a piece. I know we're going to get it by the end, so I'm going to just leave it because it's here. And it is something. No, they're not letting me move, so give me a minute.
It feels like it is like sacred teachings of how to kind of that lateral way that Brenda was showing, but really that lateral way of being where there's no hierarchy, where we are all in a circle. It's almost, but how do we function that way?
Mm-hmm.
How do we all, and we talked about this a little bit before, was like, how do we all hold equal power at the same time?
Because we do, and you know, showing up that way, functioning that way, it's very different from what most human beings have. Even when we have it here and then we go out, we effortlessly go back to this top-down effect, and it's like, again, noticing that so that we can shift that. You're going to do that more and more as you already have this, I can already see it, it's already going to start happening now. It really is this month, and it is important that you jump on the energy that's here. It doesn't matter even if it's just me and you, it doesn't matter, just you're going to do something there, okay? I don't know why the energy, it's just got to start. What do we got?
Her microphone's not working, but she's saying dragon energy.
Strong energies. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, she definitely got that. I feel like someone online has a piece for you, and so I'm gonna be really messy, and I'm gonna leave it because I know that she's holding this mastery within her about this seed that we'll leave. And it's so funny because that painting keeps talking to me the whole time I've been reading for you.
The dragon?
Yeah, the dragon at the back. So it's helping. Okay. That's enough, because you needed to know from me that September, no matter what, something, one thing at least, even if it's just you. I mean, like, it really doesn't matter. You got to just do an act of power in that type of setting. Oh, good. They're so happy. They're like, yep, great, do that. They're going to be here for our entire lifetimes. They are helping both of us. Yep, period.
And they want me to tell you that, you know, do things your own way, like being in partnership with them, follow them, help, or they can help you. Just nobody else is going to know the way but you. Mm-hmm. And this goes for honestly everybody in this room and everyone that's listening. No one's going to know the way but you, because you guys are meant to like show the way. So in that way, it's all brand new. So getting advice from somebody that's not in the arena with you is
pointless.
Yeah, it's honestly,
sorry,
it's exhausting. Because then they'll just take you another direction, and then you're like, why does this feel so heavy?
Yeah. I know, it is kind of lonely, right? Like, just honoring that we are aware, we do know, and like, it is weird. And they're honoring us, like, for that. So
We talked about that yesterday.
I know. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful way to open the circle.
Yeah, my light. It's not about me, it's about the light.
It's totally about you
It is, but
and the light,
Yeah.
which is you and all of us.
Shannon.
you know what I mean. Okay. Oh, ooh, we're just gonna go in the circle.
I know.
We're just gonna go in the circle.
Cool.
I know you got literally like,
I passed it. Smack you upside
I
the
literally
head.
was gonna say I had
I was just gonna say.
How do I do that? How's that
Your turn.
possible?
I don't know. It's not me again. I don't know.
Such chills.
Yeah, me too. They were coming and weaving, and obviously that's. I am gonna go, I guess, because I'm gonna say. Right away, it's this like letting go of some of these burdens. Like, you've worked really hard, and it's the same entourage. This is what they're here for. Partly, and they're telling me that this is we put this out there for everyone to benefit from what we carry always. Like, it's a conscious, everyday thing, prayers for everyone always. So in doing that, her entourage, mine as well, is like going, okay, and now for you, it's time to let these heavy burdens go. It's a similar kind of like, you've been walking it, you did it, it's done. I mean, it really is this, it's done. Like, new year frequency of like, no, everything's brand new now, and I'm getting huge chills, it's done. And knowing that, honoring that, you did it. Like, really, it's okay. And that's...
They want to let you know that it's the same energy, the Divine Mother that's coming forward. Partly we all need this energy. They well, just hold on a second. They want to sing you a song, and I'm not singing a song. I'm not that comfortable yet, all right? But they do want to sing you a song, and they want you to remember the song because they've sung it to you before, and it feels like in another lifetime, or songs that you remember. I'm getting chills. It's like, but they brought you such comfort because it does remind you of home. Because home is here, so in that way they're wanting to bring that comfort to you because it feels like it's been a while since you've been comforted. And this is for other people that are listening too, I think, and obviously you guys are listening, but you guys. So they're bringing that she is bringing this comfort. They're really wanting me to be delicate with you because this is where you were hurt. And not to bring up your wound, but it's like they're showing me it's time for you to speak your truth like the lion, because it's like you get to say, and you get to be messy, and you get to say, so whatever it is that you want to do, because it's the same kind of thing, it's time for you to act. It's what we would say is it's time to pull down the clouds. It's time to create form. It's time to take your power, and you're moving from a hibernation kind of cocoon stage, and it's time to open it up and be the butterfly or sculpt the clouds into form. It is that time for you, and I know that you know that. And they want to tell you that whatever you say, and it can change, and it's okay if it changes, because I know that that's some of this in here, because it's changed so much, right? Man, you've all had that. So just as a compassion piece, like I'm changing it now. I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore. So really having so much love and compassion for yourself, and starting it from this kind of energy, instead of, man, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do this. Being like, hey, you know what, I'm going to try this. Because in this kind of energy, it's more of a harm. They're showing this is the feminine, and you've already been mastering that so well. But that's what it looks like in the physical world, of being like, hey, I'm gonna do this. This feels really right for me right now. And I love it because it's an expression of self-love, and it's not grandiose, and it's not like, do you get what I'm saying? It's different. So, and it feels like they really want to be tender and just kind of slow with you, because it's like a slow process, and that's okay. But your success is inevitable because you are that powerful. It's like your words create your reality and your frequency, and you already know this. So now it's just, you're slowly going to start building that into form. So what feels right? What do you want to do, like with your business, or feels like that kind of stuff? And just like, hey, this, you don't have to go way out here. You can just say, I want to start washing dogs, or I want to start walking dogs, or I want to start whatever. It doesn't have to be like, I want a dog place that has 5 million things. It feels like, no, just do this thing, and then you'll be shown the next thing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Baby steps and.
Because this frequency is really important, though. And being this kind to yourself as you begin to act, because you haven't had to do that yet. And it's in this action phase. This is where the monster kind of comes out a little bit. You know what I'm talking about. So it's going to be a little bit of bumpy, because you're going to be like wanting to attack, like you didn't follow through in that thing, and like whatever. It's okay. It really is inevitable. Your success, and aligning that just with your heart and this spiritual practice. Because in some ways, if they want to even take away the animals, they want to kind of like clean the slate and say, no, you've been attached to the animal thing for so long, so in some ways you're trying to force yourself to finish it. And that's where it's just like, what happens if you just have a clean slate and you say, hey, you know what, maybe it's not animals. And that's what they want you to just be aware of, is like, what if it isn't animals? What would it be? And I'm getting chills now, because it's like, I don't know if animals might have been the old safe place for Shannon. So, but it's you get to say, And it really is what lights you up, what do you want to do? And you're allowed to change your identity. I mean, you've already hugely, whatever, transformed. And this for everybody, letting go of old identities. You know, there's been many times I've had to let myself say that I don't want to be an artist or whatever, and it comes back. But it really didn't have to. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it feels like it may be something else, and they partly just want you to, because it's almost like you're going about that maybe with the wrong frequency or the wrong energy, because it's just something that you have to do to finish through, because you've always said this and everybody knows you as the animal person, whatever, you get what I mean? And it's just being like, hey man, I'm authentically showing up, and isn't that crazy? It's like kind of like you're born again, you found Jesus, and now you're going in this different way. You know, it's like work with spirit, the same kind of energy, that's why you're following her. Find your sort of truth and just follow that. And it feels really good.
It's very new. It's very different. The old is done permanently. I know I'm talking to them. Taylor knows I'm talking to her. That's right.
Oh, names.
Tammy.
Oh, nope, skipped her.
I knew it was gonna be. Just when the word action came in,
Yeah.
I knew where we were going.
Yeah.
I did. Not saying you guys, but I just knew.
I knew it too.
Yeah. I knew.
I thought you'd be first.
Oh, I get to close it.
We got a little bit of time.
Might have
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time.
Oh, good. Oh, we might have.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, good, Sam. So you used to only have 3.
I know.
Yay, good. Okay, I'll be in the middle.
Tammy sandwich. All right.
I know.
That's not me. Definitely change like Shannon. Like you can definitely feel how you're in the new 1000%, just like Shannon. But yeah, they don't want me to talk.
There's this male energy that comes through. So, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Your husband.
I know, I felt him too. It was funny.
I was like, why? What's going on? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Partly he's here because this is what's done. He's done that past, that story, that karma, that lesson is all done. But he's partly wanting to open this door for you because he's like crying and he's like, you did it, babe, you did it. It's huge. I don't even know what you did, but he's like, you did it. And he's like, he wanted to be, he's like, if in a visual way, it's like he's at the pearly gates. And he's like saying, like, because you're ready to cross through to this other side, to this other way of being. And he wanted to be there when you did it. And he's like, I'm here. So, yeah. Yeah, he's so proud of you. You guys came in to do that together. In some ways, he was holding this energy, but you're letting her go, your daughter, like everything is feeling really good and light, and that was part of the lesson. All right, partly I'm singing.
No, no.
Okay. It is about similar lessons like Shannon, where you're being asked to let go of an old identity. And this is partly why the painting scares you, they're showing me, but partly it is like, can you not be the funny one? Can you not be the fun one? And I'm saying that just like with the dog thing.
Right.
Can you let go of that identity and be the serious one? Because some of what you are being called into is a different role. And there's much wisdom with humor. There's a much that can shift energy quicker than anything else, right? But in some ways it was also attached to survival. And so you're having to let go of that to allow yourself to become who you are. And though that hang up is more in your own mind than it is in anybody else surrounding you. Because some of the belief systems I can hear are like, they need me to be that way, or they, you know, because you lift them up and you're doing this, right? Like, and they need you to be, where it's like sometimes, which is, I'm not saying you need to change everything that you're doing, but what they're saying is just really listening to your own heart, and sometimes you're being called to be more serious and honestly bring in this intense energy more like a mountain. You know, before you're more like a butterfly or more like a dancer. And in this way, what if they're asking you to become more like a mountain, and a mountain doesn't move, which is the opposite of what you've been. And that's so some of that energy, but yeah, because you have the wisdom of a mountain. And it's almost like we're all wearing facades. We're all shaman and shapeshifters, right? And so it's like, it's time to now be all these other roles where it's going to be, they're showing me like this mask of just different faces. And before you just liked the one kind of yes or no, but
Yeah, no,
you get what I'm saying.
For sure, absolutely, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's interesting because I felt Scott before she, you know, like I knew, but he wouldn't talk to me. So there's something about Wendy having to bring through that message, and I just invite you to think about that later. Because I'm not sure why, but he's saying that he wants to talk to you about that. Like, because I don't know. He won't even tell me now. Okay. So that being said, you being in a new land, it's time for you to know your truth there, because this is different now. And it's interesting to me that there's now 3 messages of you leave this class differently than you came. And so I haunt you and I haunt all of you because that's significant. Like literally, like, no, this is it. Everything changes now. Because similar, like I'm going to say the same thing Wendy did a little bit differently. It's time for you to know what your truth is in this
New skin.
Yeah, they're not. They're telling me, okay, how would you like me to explain it? It's so weird because they don't want me to even be logical about it. They're like, no, you're more than you think that you are. You're more. And so it's like you can't even use your sword because we must be more first. We must hold on. Whew, they really want you to move. They want you to really change. Okay. I'm gonna be more weird than I usually am in these classes, but I'm gonna trust and surrender because they're literally changing your whole field. They're like, no, it's totally different. It's not even, we can't even talk about it the same way. Is your ear ringing? Yeah.
And they would tap me on the shoulder. So they wanted to talk to me too.
Yeah, okay, good. That makes a lot of sense because it's like, no, it's totally different. It's not anything like what you think it is. And it will continue to be that obvious. It's already been a little bit obvious. They've been able to come in more and more and more and more. Well, now it's just here. It's like that. It's like, no, now it's just here. There's no ebb or flow any longer. It's simply now. And they're showing me your sword is in you. Like you've got it in you. So you've got, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense in the energy. Yeah, for me right now, it was more about they wanted me to shift you. They wanted me to help you shift. So I don't really want to talk to you about it because we'll talk about it later. Because for the sake of this And it's interesting because there's someone who's going to listen later, not even here right now, that I can feel a part of this. So whoever you are later, who's ever in the online world, thank you, because they're helping and they're going through a similar thing right now, which is very cool. I just got huge chills. There might be more than one even. Okay, there we go. Okay. Yeah, because you're shifting from the grid. You're you're aligning with a frequency, a different grid on the planet than you were just in.
Then I just walked in?
Yeah. Yep. Okay, that's all. Okay,
Well,
you're
that's a
good.
lot. That's it.
I know, right? You're like, okay.
Ain't no big thing.
Like, okay.
Am I going to be able to walk out?
Yeah, we know
Right.
this changes to you.
Oh, yeah, I know the change.
Oh, yeah. It's
Very
been
cool.
amazing.
And thank you for that. If you were to watch this, or if you were here and just looked at it from this space, you might miss all of this, but this space I love the most because we don't have to talk about it. It's a frequency shift. It doesn't require words. It doesn't require our thinking self to understand it. It really is part of Source, the I am, the oneness. So thank you for choosing that and allowing us to be a part of it.
It's all very beautiful tonight. It's just
Yeah.
like, wow.
Very powerful.
Yes. Very powerful. It's been getting more powerful every week, every month. But we are culminating now, man.
We
We have been called. We've been
Do
called
one more?
together.
there's just a weird thing.
We definitely, I know.
So
We have.
part of your line, part of your ancestral line, it feels like a grandfather, somebody was killed in war. I don't need to chills. And I can hear him and I can feel him calling for the medic. Yeah. And it's coming through for you, partly maybe for all of us to send light to them. Because I keep looking at you and that's all I can see is this war field. And somebody calling medic like they got blown up or something. So I just always am trusting. So maybe it's for somebody else, I don't know. But it feels like a time, even like a timeline that we've opened a door to or awareness to. So I just want to, oh, you guys can't see it. Can you see it? Okay, thanks. Sometimes I feel crazy.
We're all a little crazy.
So we could just just send light and love down that line.
Okay.
Just hold it in light and love and yes. In some ways he's saying his sacrifice to choose another way. Yeah. Choose another way. Choose another way. Yeah. I don't know why.
It just helped. It helped. They won't even tell.
Okay.
Period. We're just gonna put a period. It helped. Period. All of us
Right.
and others. But that's all I can. Sabrina.
You're not gonna believe this, but I said, ask the spirits to talk to me tonight.
Nice. I love that.
And then here they go.
Closing it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right away, I want you to trust what you're hearing because you are hearing them. You did know. I love it. Things are not as they seem. You have things playing out in your world that are not really true, they're not really real. And they're allowing you the opportunity to observe parts of yourself, to experience parts of yourself that want to be reconciled. Okay? So it is similar to these last couple of messages of it's time to move on to this next thing. It's time to let go. And the letting go of the stories of the pain or the wounds or the, I don't know, you're being invited to let all that go. Because it's beginning to get heavy, is what it feels like. And it feels like it's very scary for your humanness, not in your soul, your heart. Your heart's like, yeah, okay, cool, I'm game. And in your humanness, it feels very much like you have this push and pull back and forth with those two parts. Am I making sense? Is that resonating? Because things are about to change for you. And you want them to. And I want to say that again. I want to haunt you on this one. You want these changes to take place. And I feel like you're partly resisting them. Am I making sense with that?
Yeah.
Okay. But you really do want them. And you're still resisting. And so I'm going to invite you to not worry about anything, period. Don't worry, period. And let go. Because you want this. This is all really, really good. And this is for someone else too. I can't tell if it's here online now or someone in the future. But I can feel them too. So thank you, because again, you're helping some other people. In fact, there's more than one other person. Anyway, yes, thank you. Do you want to jump in, or am I okay? Am I okay?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just feel your entourage, because you are in the best of hands, similar to last time. Was it last time or the month before? Because you're in very good hands now, and you being here, you've been guided to come to these meetings, which I had no idea, but I'm hearing from Spirit that they've been pushing you to come for a while. And then these lovely ladies obviously dragged you a little bit, not totally, but they kind of said, hey, come on, let's go. But then you felt the nudge and you felt the pulling and you knew that, and then it began to fill you, and then you begin to remember, like, all of this is snowballing, it's starting to move. Am I making sense?
Mm-hmm.
So your life is about to change.
Mm-hmm.
In really, really, really good ways, in ways that I kind of want to bawl my eyes out in that really joyful yes way. And for whatever reason, it feels like there's anguish with it too. Like there's sadness, or there's, I don't know, it's interesting because it feels like it's not real or true. Like it feels like that's just not true. It's like, no, you're looking forward to this shift, to this change in your world and your life. And I don't know, I can't tell if it's like a home change or work change, or but it feels like a human change. Like everything's about to change. Don't freak out. Okay, you're gonna freak out a little bit. It's totally okay to freak out too. Totally cool.
Yeah.
And yet you'll remember this conversation too. Go ahead, go. I'm probably gonna come back, but go ahead.
Hi. I'm so dramatic. They want to kind of explain to you what happened since last time. Basically, you did choose something, and when you chose something, it started shifting, almost like murmurating throughout your entire life, and basically reality, because you chose yourself. In some ways, you've been ignited, okay? And it did happen last time, but it was a remembrance from all the way back to your childhood, and so it kind of shifted everything. And what's happening, because you're kind of very intellectual too, you want to know, is what happens is that you turned your light on, and so now all of this like unresolved emotional space is needing to be released, because you were taught bad habits in some way to where you don't show them, you don't express them, you don't do these things, and so now you're showing up for all these parts that just need to be expressed. And so that's part of the chaos, and partly what your mind hates because it's messy. And that's partly why Brenda's recognizing the grief and the anguish, because that's some of the emotions that do need to be released in this because of some of your earlier life experiences. But ultimately, your higher self, and this is what you've been manifesting forever, and the timing was always going to be right now, because you knew, your higher self knew that if you chose right now, you'd be kind of fast-tracked, and you would be like in 1 year of intense kind of emotional kind of chaos, instead of like 10 years of slowly healing. I mean, you've already been healing, we've all been doing that, but in some ways, right? You're like, I'm gonna like, I know it's there, okay, but now you're like, all right, now I'm ready, and now they're like, yep, because you're gonna move through it really quick. So if you already did choose this, but it feels like you're kind of fast-tracked. The fastest way through this is really allowing for these emotions. And so it's going to be a little bit more wild and chaotic than you're comfortable with. And that's where you're going to have to let go of the worries. You're going to be like, just Jesus, take the wheel. Like for real in every sense of that word. In just even having the faith of being like, hey, in your heart, it's your relationship with God and Jesus is your heart. So wherever your heart is showing you the way. So if you're in anguish or you're in turmoil or whatever, go there and feel them. And just like, I'm giving them to you, God. I'm giving them to you. And let yourself feel them, right? That's going to move you along this path. And they're already showing me like everything's lined up. Where if it's the house, because it does feel like moving, I don't know why, but it feels like a new house, a new relationships, all these things are all like lined up perfectly, and you're like on this path. All you got to do now is follow it. Like there really is, your success is inevitable. Your mind, and I keep telling you this as to emotionally prepare, your mind is going to have the hardest problem with this. Okay, your spirit and your heart and everything else.
Your body
totally
even is going to like it. Every other part of you is going to be like,
this is your superpower.
Oh, yes.
So whenever this starts taking over, like worry, you got to give it to God, right? You got to give it to Jesus, whoever your people are, your spiritual team is, whoever you feel safe with the most. But allow yourself to feel those feelings. Those have to get out of your body. Those have to get out of your energy field. Okay? Mm-hmm. And that's how you create that sacred temple within, so you can hear God more, you can hear Jesus more, you can hear all these things stronger. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it's almost like your whole life's going to kind of blow up, but in beautiful ways. Like you're going to be it's like they're showing me you're going to be like running naked through the streets, singing, like you're not even, like, but there's a freedom in that. You don't even care. You're like, look at these, okay? Look at me.
And we're talking about singing.
Yeah.
So I totally thought that was a lion, by the way. Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Beautiful
God,
stew.
dog.
I know, I
Dog
did.
was like, I
totally
like
thought
that.
I totally thought it was lion. It's so cool. We have a lion online.
It looks like a
So I want to do something that I've never done before. I love that too. And so what it is, and this is going to be our closing, and so it's going to be a little bit weird, but I like weird too, because what comes forward, and it's for you. Okay, this is your mastery, and it is the Divine Mother's. In your thinking self, you put your faith in the male. And that is not your wisdom, my dear friend. You know the great mothers. Okay? Mother Mary, the other Marys.
You said that last time.
I did, I know.
Mm-hmm.
I see you, I know who you are. Okay? So I'm going to invite you all to invite them in. Now I'm going to close my eyes for a minute because they would like to commune with us. And these are the great mothers coming forward because we have everyone watching this, everyone here, online, wherever you are being a part of this, you are a part of this bigger conversation about the great mother integrating with our beings again. She has been lost for some time, and I don't really like that word lost, so I'm going to say she's been
Buried.
somewhere. Yes, thank you. Someone said buried. So in whatever way feels right for you, I invite you to open this door or unearth it. Just invite the great mothers back into ourselves, back into our bodies, back into our experience. This is the great knower, the great healer, the great power of this planet. It is compassionate and kind, loving, considerate, peaceful, and powerful as fuck. So allowing your cells to align with this frequency, this knowing, as all the great mothers from all around the universes come forward to help us and to honor us because we have chosen her. We have said we choose to live in balance, we choose to walk in balance, we choose to speak in balance with the divine masculine and the divine feminine now. So allowing yourself to hold both, to feel both. And for each and every one of us, this is a different need, a different want, and it doesn't matter. Put them forward, bring them forward. Choose to heal, choose to grow, choose to know, choose, create, and remember. And again, just breathing in this energy, allowing yourself to leave differently than you came here this day, this evening, whenever you're watching this. There we go. Let down your guards, let down your resistance, let down your fear. Just give it back to Source. Give it back to the earth. Whatever way feels right for you. Allow yourself to receive. To fill back up. To come back to balance. I truly honor each and every one of you. I honor you for showing up and helping us get here. We all know the pain, the loneliness, the struggle. And we intentfully, lovingly, powerfully let it go. We dim our light no more. We hide no more. We let go. There we go. That's nice. This energy does not matter if you're a man or a woman. We all carry both. I thank you so for being who you are, for shining your light, for choosing love, for bringing peace and light to this planet. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here and making this group possible, whether you're here in this now or in the future. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you for coming in live.
Really hot
Appreciate it.
here.